And why did the terrorists who attacked Paris escape the net of French intelligence? They had been on U.S. and French watch lists, but were not being tracked adequately, apparently. Joining me now is Congressman Adam Schiff, now the top Democrat in the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, Andrea.
Well, there is a whole question of how, as the ambassador said, how can you put everyone under watch? They have such a large percent of not just Muslims, but Muslims who have been back and forth to Syria, many more than we have here in the United States.
That's exactly right, and I can certainly empathize with the challenge the French face. It's not as if when they took agents off the surveillance of these two brothers, those agents went on vacation. They went to surveil other people that may have been an even greater threat, or at least they were viewed as a greater threat. This is a challenge we face, but because there are so many foreign fighters that have left France to join the fight, and so many Europeans that could come to France very easily, they're quite inundated with requests for surveillance and with the need to keep an eye on people that may be a problem.
Do you think there are any American security changes that are warranted, or do you think this will slow down the president's efforts to release people who've been vetted from Guantanamo? I mean, what are the implications for the United States?
Well, you can already see people making the argument, as indeed is the case after every tragedy, to support a policy position that they've advocated before the tragedy. So it will have an impact potentially on Guantanamo. It'll have an impact potentially on the metadata program and reforms of the FISA court. But we have to make sure that, in fact, A follows from B. I saw the director of the NSA, for example, making the argument, well, we can't reform the metadata program now. True. Yes, we need the capability. That doesn't mean the government has to hold on to all that data. So we have to be careful not to use things that don't lead us to the same conclusion that some of the advocates are pushing. But it will affect the debate. In terms of our own security processes here at home, I think it will accelerate some of the imperative that we better coordinate at the community level, that we work even more closely with the American Muslim community, which is a part of the solution, that we make sure that we are having good information sharing with our foreign partners, which is ongoing, but will have to intensify.
And in fact, here in the United States, the Muslim community is far better assimilated and integrated and not ghettoized as much as it is in France, Germany, and other parts of Europe. I also wanted to ask you about this failure of any cabinet level or higher official to show up at this march. 44 leaders. There's been a lot of criticism.
You know, I can't explain why it wasn't possible for the president or vice president. We did have high-level people in France. The Attorney General, the Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security were there for a security conference. Of course, the president made a personal condolence call on the French embassy. I think as a practical matter, as you heard from the French ambassador, the French know and understand our close solidarity with them in this time of need. And apart from the symbolism, which is important, the most important thing is, are we having the level of cooperation with the French? And there's no question about that on either side of the Atlantic. We have intense cooperation. They're one of our closest allies, and that's only going to continue and intensify.
Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you very much. Thanks for being with us today. And we have